Constitution mainly affects our HP. If you want to get a higher Constitution, you'll be able to get more HP per level. Also, is a higher chance that you'll be resurrected if somebody casts a resurrection spell on you. Intelligence really isn't all that big of a deal for us. It mainly deals with spell casting. If you're a mage and you have a higher intelligence, you'll be able to cast higher level spells. Also, the percentage to learn a spell will go up, and the max number of spells you can have per level will go up. You also get bonuses to lore if your intelligence is higher. Wisdom also isn't overly important for fighters. It's mainly for priests. You'll get magic. You can get higher magic defense with higher wisdom, though. That's always good. You'll get bonus spells in certain levels if you have a higher wisdom score, but that's for priest spells only, not for mage spells. Spell failure will go down, and also another bonus to lore. Charisma mainly adjusts reaction to like NPC reaction to us. It really doesn't seem all that important, but it does make for better characters. I have a maxed out charisma score on my person. A good charisma score gives, we start off with a higher disposition anyway, or higher, what's the word I'm looking for? Crap. It's written down in here. I'll look it up. Reputation. But charisma will also affect pricing. Like the higher charisma scores will give us, lower prices, as will our reputation. I'm just going to go with these scores for now. I'm not going to stay with those. For skills, we have 4 proficiency slots. I've put 2 into large sword and 2 into blunt, because I'll mainly be using those kind of weapons. And then appearance, well, actually, we're going to go to his import character, I think. Is it Rado 2? It isn't Rado 2, is it? No, I think it's Rado. Yep, here we are. We have an 18/80 strength. Normally for the skills, it's basically 3 6-sided dice, so it can be for anywhere from 3 to 18. But for fighters and fighter hybrids, you can actually roll a percentage die, so you can you can tack on a number from 1 to 100 that will add on to the end, and that will further our strength even more. But that's only on the strength stat. That's only for fighters and fighter hybrids, and other warrior classes. I think, rangers and paladins can do this too. We have an 11 dexterity score. I do want a higher dexterity, but we will be getting an item that will set our dexterity to 18 later in the game, so it's alright. We got a maxed out constitution score. We have 10 in wisdom and intelligence, and we have an 18 charisma. I actually realized I did put a proficiency slot into bow, and I'm not going to be using bows that much, but it's okay. We can go with that. Appearance, it's basically our colors. I mainly go with orange because orange is my favorite color. Orange and red. That looks good. Ooh, this is basically the sound that's going to play. I don't know if you can hear that very well. Actually, I'm going to turn up the volume a bit.
I feel this is my rightful place.
The one we're going to be going for is, I think...
Death to you all!
Yeah, that's the one I go for. It's really just personal preference here. And our name is, well, my name, Rado Goji. As far as RPGs go, that's the name I'm going to pick if there isn't a default name. Or in any particular game, if it gives you a choice of a name to put in. If there's a default name, I'll usually go for that. If there is no default name, it's going to be Rado Goji or Rado if there's a character limit. So, let's start.
Nestled atop the cliffs that rise from the Sword Coast, the citadel of Candlekeep houses the finest and most comprehensive collection of writings on the face of Farron. It is an imposing fortress, kept in strict isolation from the intrigue
Okay. That's the story, or the prologue. I will be doing the whole prologue section in this particular session of the game. We start with 80 gold. That's not a lot. But yeah, I'm going to be doing the entire prologue section. But first, let's see if I need a mouse pad or something. But also, I think the recording stuff is kind of lagging a little bit, but we'll be fine. If we look at our inventory screen, we have stuff here. This is our armor class. Basically, the lower the score, the better our armor class is, believe it or not. It basically has to do with the mechanics of 2nd edition rules, and I'm not going to go into too much detail. That's our hit points. The only thing we have with us is a quarterstaff, which is okay for us. We have some skill in blunt weapons, we can do that. And our gold. We have... This brings us to our main screen here. This is our map. Click on this, will show us the world map. We are at Candlekeep. Where did my cursor go? There it is. This is our journal. This will write down stuff about side quests and regular quests and whatnot. I don't know if I'm going to be showing off the journal too much. It really doesn't matter all that much. There's our inventory screen again. There's our profile. It shows our scores, all of our stuff. Thaco, that's basically our accuracy. It means to hit armor class 0, we have to roll at least an 18. And of course, the armor class will add or subtract that, and we will have to at least roll that on a 20-sided die. But the game does that automatically, so that's why I really didn't want to go into too much detail. Yeah. I do apologize if the sound is kind of weird. My voice seems to be registering quite loud on Audacity, and the game not so much. I will fix that if that does become an issue in later parts. Also, the way I'm going to be putting this out, I'm going to be doing the entire prologue in one recording session. I will put up the intro video as all the video or videos that the character generation, takes up, as well as the first part of the prologue, and then I'll start putting out a part each day. It's probably on like part 3 or 4 by the time you actually hear about this, but I'm just talking myself out loud. I know I really shouldn't do that, but yeah. So our lore score is very low. We won't have to worry too much about that. If we have a high lore score, we can identify items without having to use a spell or having to pay someone to do it. Chances are, though, we're going to be doing that anyway. So there we go. We don't have any magic resistance. Our reputation is average, which is fair enough. Still a good enough score. I mean, this is basically the same kind of score that you start off if you're lawful good, so... we don't need an AI script. I'm going to be... Basically, there are a lot of shortcuts on the keyboard. The only one I'm really going to be using is spacebar, which is pause the game. So I really don't need too much of an AI script because I'm going to be pausing the game quite a bit and telling people what to do.